And we are live. On the video on the Facebook, I had a little on-air lighting thing which I just lit up. But good morning, you are listening to IBGR.network, the International Business Growth Radio Network, and I am your host, Jan Robberts, inspirational entrepreneur. I'm also the co-founder of Key Leadership Institute, the founder of JR Speakers Club, and I'm a coach, a trainer, a speaker, values-based leadership specialist, personal profiling consultant, and personal development professional. Now, for more information about me and how you can get a hold of me, you can always go to the IBGR.network website, where you can find all the details, but also all the areas where we are in IBGR network, because there is a lot about it, and we would love to hear from you in real time. That's why if you go to the network, there is a pulsating orange, sometimes annoying orange question mark in the bottom corner that you can ask questions live, but also on Facebook. We're on Facebook now as well, so you can ask questions here, make comments, and if there is anything you want to hear on the people side, especially because Thursday is People Day around the world. So if you want to hear anything about the people side, about any others, ask questions, make comments, and we will do our best, because you, the listener, are the most important, that we will do our best to talk into that. Now, you can always connect and interact with us at all our social media, because we are on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live just now, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and also the platform of www.ibgr.network. And don't forget, we have an amazing app. So download the app onto your phone, your tablet, your laptop, so you never have to be without. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to listen to me all the time, because we've got more than 40 hosts around the world, and we're on the online 24/7. You can, on our app and our platform as well, you can connect with these hosts. You can learn more about them. You can download all the podcasts, because everything is podcasted afterwards, and so you can download the podcast. You can listen to our host. You can also join the community. We would love you to join our community, because you are the most important. Now, we are now in episode 5 already in season 4. Wow, how time flies. And I am going to talk about persistence. And persistence is not just a nice to have. And this is going to be, of course, today is the lane people skills for success. And you can also download my show notes on the IBGR.network website. And on the show notes, I'll talk a little bit more into it, because I've also put some resources in there at the end of it, including a link to the PDF of the book Think and Grow Rich, which is very important, because I'm going to talk into Think and Grow Rich a fair bit, which really has an amazing exercise about persistence. For that alone, it would be worth downloading the book, which I'm going to talk into the exercise later on, but especially about persistence, of course, today. So we have now, as I said, we're well into our 4th season, and we want you to ask questions. And it's not just, as I said, in my lane or today's lane, but we have people in operations, customers, finance. That is the first 3 days. Today is People Day, and tomorrow is executives, like working on the business rather than in the business. And there is different levels, but I know there'll be something for everybody. If you're a budding entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're planning selling your entrepreneurial business, there is so much information on all these kind of levels in there. Now, not only for you, of course, on the radio, of course. If you, on Facebook, we'll say like and share it, because leaders don't keep good things to themselves. And I know there's good things, not just from me, but especially from all the other amazing entrepreneurial hosts around the world. But if there is something you hear that, not just for yourself, but if you know that there is people in your circle of friends, in your community, people you know that might benefit from some of this knowledge, get the link to them, share this with them, even the website or the app, share this stuff with them, because the idea is that, with this group of entrepreneurs around the world, we want to help you, the listener, you, the budding entrepreneur or the entrepreneur, whether you're struggling, and there's a lot of people struggling already now, especially in this time where more people are thinking about becoming entrepreneurs, whether it's time to really, this is the time. Maybe it's been a gift, really, that you've either lost your job or are more insecure than ever before, that you now really have to look into why you would become an entrepreneur. We talk about your passion, your purpose, and your destiny, which each and every one of us got. But today, we're really going to talk about when you take that step, that there is one thing you really need, and that is persistence. So persistence also talks into how failure is going to be part of that process. Now, will you learn from it? Will you keep growing? And will you keep going? Will you move forward? Now, if this is your first time listening, welcome to the show. If this is your return listener, or of course viewer as well, now we're on Facebook as well, welcome back. And of course, we've got a YouTube station as well, which you can go to. So there's so many areas where you can catch this, but it's an absolutely fantabulous pleasure and privilege that we now have more people from more than 152 countries around the world listening in. Not all at the same time, of course, but listening in during the week to all the different shows that are available. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for sharing this, and thank you for taking the time and making the investment in you, as we are doing also. We want to make an investment in us and in you, because we learn from you as well when you start asking questions. So thank you for making that investment and being on this platform and sharing and liking it with others, because we want everybody to be able to benefit. Bill Eastman always says that, in the advert, you might have heard it already today, or certainly you'll hear it later, that 57% of people are entrepreneurs or employed by entrepreneurs. That's a whopping, as he says, 1.9 billion people, and that's only going to get more, because more and more people need to take that plunge, want to take that plunge. But, I talk into your passion as well, why I talked about that last week. When you have that voice talking inside of yourself, when you really want to get going, you need that. Especially at the times when the times are not so good, but you also need persistence, and that's why I'm going to talk into that today. Now, when I look into Think and Grow Rich, I'm going to talk a lot more into that as well. But it is not just about getting rich financially, of course that as well, but rich here. And if we can build ourselves here, and the book is a phenomenal book made in 1937, the same year my dad was born, but. Persistence, it says, is the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Now that is something. So to induce faith. So if there is one thing that will get you to your goals, it is courage. To keep going from failure to failure without giving up hope. Now that is something that Sir Winston Churchill talked about, maybe slightly different, but that's what he says courage actually is. But he actually talked about it, and he defined courage in that way. Now, to do so takes persistence, to not give up on the first sign of failure or any other character building challenge you might and certainly will have. Now, we don't want to get negative and say, oh, you will fail or you will have challenges. If you don't know by now, even working in a job or even in the situation we are now, we all have challenges. We all have our own failures, whatever that looks like. So I want you, the listener, you, the viewer, to realize that we're going to talk into persistence. When you think about it, when you really think about it, we've all had persistence because you're walking. Some of you probably cycling. Some of them you're doing other things that you never thought you could do. But we started from lying on a mat and crying and filling nappies and people saying goo goo goo, all kinds of silly language to us, and then we started crawling. Now all of a sudden we started trying to crawl up the furniture, and if you look at little children, it's absolutely amazing. But when they started standing up, their parents and everybody around them, their siblings, they all encouraged them. Yeah, well done, brilliant, and they were so delighted, and they were phoning their family and their mothers and their grandparents. Oh, he's standing up, or she's standing up, and then she started to walk. He or she started to walk. Now, did that happen all smoothly? No, they fall on their backside, and when they fall, it's funny to see how relaxed they are, because they don't fall all over the place like adults when they fall down. And boom, and they sit there. And it's amazing. But then they start walking again, and they get encouraged. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. And with the encouragement as well, with the persistence, we started to walk. If that hadn't happened, we'd still be crawling. And if we failed at the first time, I'm never going to be able to walk. How did you do that? No, it's not going to be like that. So we need to keep going. But it is the same, with cycling. When we fall off our bike, we scrape our knee, a mum puts a kiss on it and a funny plaster, and we're happy and we keep going again. Persistence is key, people. A child wanting an ice cream, a toy, or just the proper attention. Dad. Yes, I'm hearing you. You're not looking at them. Dad. I want an ice cream, man. And eventually you just give them an ice cream, and they persist. The persistence when we were young was legendary. So what happened to us? What happens is when we got older. Now, let me give you a question just now. Have you ever started something and not completed it? You were full of excitement at the start of it. For whatever reason, you stopped and gave up. You quit. Now, I've also done things like that, of course, but we need to learn from those kind of things. You know, the only thing you might need to quit is chocolate or too much coffee or smoking or whatever. But many things not. There might be times for you entrepreneurial in your entrepreneurial journey that you'll feel exactly the same. Even if you have found your why, your passion, your purpose, as I talked about last week, and you know that this is what you have to do. There will be times you will get disheartened, you feel like giving up and question whether it's all worth it. Now, I need to keep an eye on my time because, as we know on this radio show, we need to have a break very shortly, but I've also got another minute, so I'm just putting the glass on because I've got everything ready. I've got my water and my time clock and everything. But yeah, but that is really when you need persistence. That's when you need that true grit. That when you need to say to yourself, I will until, and you can fill it in. I will do or die trying, but I will never give up. That's Winston Churchill again, but I borrowed that, of course, from him. But you get the message. Persistence is also a major part of your journey to the success in life that you truly crave and deserve. Now, I will talk into persistence, determination, perseverance, and resilience, and what all that means after this. A stunning exercise on the power of persistence, the 16 symptoms of a lack of persistence, and the 8 areas to cultivate to become more persistent. So don't go away if you're on the radio. We're going to take a short break just now, but join us on all our social media, and I'll see you back in a few minutes. Take care.